TheSuperReviewShow for this episode of Trekkies. That's right, this is our Star Trek only show, and this one has... I'm proud to say that Trekkies has finally reached a year old. This is the 12th episode of Trekkies, and I've done it for 12 months now. That's a year. So we're going to get into two things today. We're going to talk about Star Trek Beyond. I'm not going to get into spoilers. I'm just going to say what I liked about it and what I didn't like. And I'm going to get into Comic-Con recap, because there was a lot of Star Trek stuff at Comic-Con. There was actually... I'll get into it, but a brief thing. They had William Shatner. They had Brent Spiner. They had... They basically had a representative from each show. So we're going to get into it right now. So here we go. Star Trek Beyond. Star Trek Beyond, Star Trek Beyond, Star Trek Beyond. I have been waiting for this movie the moment they announced a Star Trek 3. I was so hyped. I was so thrilled to hear that, the crew is coming back. This will be the same thing again. They're on their 5-year mission now. The one thing I was hesitant about was actually Justin Lin directing. And having him direct this thing was actually, in my opinion, a stroke of genius. Because he actually brought, you heard it in our review, but he brought the casuals, he brought the Trekkie to the public type of thing. What I mean by that is he brought not necessarily the hardcore Star Trek fan, but the Star Trek fan base that are not hardcore fans, but they love the franchise. That didn't really love 2009 or Into Darkness. They brought based on what I've heard, it brought them back into the franchise with this one. And that's great. And also it got the mass audiences in the theater. I had to sit in the front corner of the theater, and I was like, that the whole time. Give me a break. It was ridiculous. But, that's how many people were lined up out the door. And a lot of these people were 50 or 60 years old. Mainly because they grew up on the original series and probably watched the rest of the shows through then. And that's awesome. And just the fact that it's 50 years of Star Trek this year. I know I've done a lot of Star Trek stuff this year in particular, mainly because it's the 50th anniversary. I'm actually, now that I think about it, I'm going to see what I can do about a Star Trek original series live stream of the pilot. Not the Cage, the pilot. Because the Cage was aired later on. But the actual pilot of Star Trek. With Pike leaving, Kirk coming in, and just looking back 50... And I'm going to do it in September, obviously. September 8th or whatever it is. That's the day that it first aired. And I'm going to watch it. I'll do a live stream with you. We'll do an hour-long live stream beforehand. We'll have a big people... We'll see what we can do on the couch. We're going to have, me, I'm going to be there. We're going to have Andrew, and we're going to have Jake. We'll have a big thing about Star Trek. And we'll watch... at 8 o'clock, or whatever. I don't know. We'll do some time leading up to it, and it'll just like a pre-thing. We'll do a pre-stream, and then we'll do how to put this. We're gonna do a pre-stream, and then we're gonna stop it, and then we're gonna live stream the actual episode itself, celebrating 50 years of this incredible franchise, and seeing that I wish Gene Roddenberry was here to see this, because he was the one that thought of this idea in the first place, and it's 50 years old now, so it's kind of emotional, but it's okay. For me, at least, because my grandfather grew up, he's a sci-fi nerd. He grew up with the Trekkie. He grew up with Twilight Zone. He grew up with Star Trek. He grew up with all those, the 60s stuff, 50s stuff, that kind of stuff. My father himself, my dad, he grew up with, not necessarily Next Generation, but he watched the original series and the original animated series. And now I can go back to all of it. I can go back to Next Generation. I go back to the original series, and I look back and I say, this is really cool. So it's one of those franchises that brings generations together. It's one of those things. So, and that's what Beyond did. A lot of people were there in their 50s and 60s, like I said, who just said, we're just going to watch Star Trek celebrating 50 years of this franchise. And there you go. But yeah, that's all the Beyond stuff, and I know the Star Trek stuff. But yeah, that live stream stuff is in the works. So I'm going to talk to my friends about that. We're going to see what we can do on September 8th. The actual day, 50 years later, of Star Trek, the original series. We're going to watch the pilot. Or better yet, we can do? We can watch the pilot at 5 o'clock in the evening or something, right? Then we can go, we're going to do the actual live stream. I'm just trying to think. I want to do the pilot, and we're going to do key episodes like the Gorn, Tribbles, we'll pick out 3 or 4 episodes, and we'll just do a 4-hour thing. or not a foil. You'll watch us live stream and hear our comments about it. So it's something to look forward to on September 8th. So there you go. There's that. Now, that all being said, let's get into the Comic-Con recap. Okay, they had a 50th anniversary Star Trek panel at Comic-Con, which I'm going to leave a link for the actual panel itself by Flicks in the City. They are great at covering Comic-Con like no tomorrow. They love it. And I'm going to leave a link for that in the description of this video so you guys can check out the panel if you haven't checked it out yet. But basically, it was just really nice to see how William Shatner was there. As I said, Brent Spiner was there. Michael Dorn, who was Worf in both Next Generation and Voyager, was there. And you also had... What was the other one? Why am I forgetting her name? Oh my goodness. It was someone from Deep Space Nine or Voyager. I can't remember. And then it was Scott Bakula of Star Trek Enterprise. So it was one of these. Each show was represented there, and that's really all they had. They did have some Leonard Nimoy stuff and things like that, but it was mainly those 5 shows that they celebrated. Mainly, in my opinion, original series, Next Generation, and a little bit of Voyager and Deep Space Nine. But obviously not everyone was there. I'm sure people there were signing autographs, like, oh my god, 50 years, better get to Comic-Con, stuff like that. But yeah, Comic-Con, like I said, the panel is gonna be in the description of this video, so you guys can go check it out on your own. But yeah, so that will do it for this episode of Trekkies, guys. Please, if you love Star Trek, subscribe to this YouTube channel for all of your Star Trek updates. Feel free to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter simply at TheSuperReviewShow. And if you just love talking stuff, please leave all your comments, thoughts on Star Trek and stuff in the comment section of the video. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But so for this 12th Trekkies episode, it's 1 year of Trekkies. This is the episode that made it to a year old. I feel old already. Please keep it locked for all your Star Trek updates on the Super Review Show. J-Man, off to work. Happy Star Trek, guys. Live long and prosper.